Let's recap. God's mission is our mission. The mission forms the church, and the church lives like Jesus lived. But there's more to it than that. There's also a message. Perhaps like many of you, when I was younger, when I heard about the kingdom of God, or I read about it in the Bible, I always thought it was the same as heaven, and heaven was a place you went after you died. It wasn't until I was older and I had done some study that I found out how seriously flawed my thinking had been. The kingdom of God was already exerting itself on earth. It came when Jesus entered this earth as the Old Testament had predicted. However, the kingdom is not visible. It's hidden and not fully come. As Jesus told in his parables, it's kind of like a seed that continues to grow until it bears fruit. Like any kingdom, it has citizens. These citizens are born into membership, or perhaps more accurately, they're reborn into membership. There has to be a second birth in order to be a part of the kingdom. And the kingdom has certain cultural distinctives. God's kingdom is not like any other kingdom, governments, or empires of the world. In this kingdom, the first are last. When we're weak, then his power is present, and leading is done through servanthood and service. The greatest in the kingdom must become the least. When Jesus came, his sole message was the kingdom of God is near. It was the good news of the kingdom. Think of the kingdom as a realm. The realm is God's rule. It first enters into our hearts, and then as we continue to orient the rest of our life towards this realm, and we extend the kingdom of Jesus' reign. And Jesus' intent is that the kingdom would come down in all the earth, so he is redeeming not only the lives of people, but the whole of creation, including the invisible powers and principalities that are at work. And the church conveys the kingdom. The authority of the kingdom has been given to his church, who serve as kingdom outposts in a world that is actively rebelling against the king. And that authority is one of love and service and surrender. In and of ourselves, we cannot, nor would we want to, embrace that kind of life and these things that are required. But Jesus liberates us from exactly those things and that prevent us living that humble kind of life. Scholar Johannes Metz explained it in this way. It is not a liberation from our powerlessness, but from our own form of predominance. It frees us not from the state of being dominated, but from that of dominating. Not from our suffering, but from our apathy. Not from our guilt, but from our innocence, or rather from the delusion of innocence, which the life of domination has long since spread out through our souls. It is with this kind of weak yet strong, leading yet serving, giving yet receiving type of kingdom presence that we are meant to subvert the culturally prevalent, power-mongering, and me-first individualism that exists all around us. And as we do this, his kingdom comes, his will is done, and the seed of the kingdom grows. It grows when we take a stand against corruption and evil. It grows when we uphold justice and extend grace. It grows when we care for the creation as God cares for the creation. And it grows as we turn and face up the kingdom of God and encourage others to face the kingdom and surrender their lives to the King. As we live as Jesus lived, the church conveys the kingdom.